Hey there, it's Brittany Chavers, and I am back with a new tutorial, and today we're going to be using Jesse James Beads Holiday 2021 line. We're going to be focusing on Holiday Pop, and we're going to use just a couple beads from Winter Solstice and I Don't Sled, I Slay. So today we're going to focus on earrings, but we are going to make a really, and I mean truly simple necklace as well. We're going to use our multipliers. These are actually on Jesse James Beads site now. This is by Beadalon. I love these. I'm sure you've seen them in my videos, but I use them. I exclusively use those. We're also going to be using some really teeny tiny curb chain. And it comes in this cute little pack, but it's really teeny tiny. And then we're going to use some 24 gauge wire, I'm pretty sure. So we'll get to that in just a few moments. The one thing I want to start with is we're going to make a charm, and we're going to use a one of these little bows that was in the I Don't Sled, I Slay mix. And there's a red one in there too if you want to use that. And then this came out of the Holiday Pop collection. It's a little charm that looks like a gift, and it's super cute, but I'm going to take it apart and make it my own today. I'm just going to take my snippers and snip off the loop and take off the top two beads, the bead cap and the little crystal. And I'm just going to put those back in my mix. I'm going to take out my eye pin or head pin. Okay. Get all that good stuff out of the way, and I am going to take my E6000 glue. I use the clear kind, and I am just going to put some glue on the top of my bead, just like that. And we close the glue immediately because we do not want that leaking everywhere. And then I'm just going to take my bow and smush it on the top with the glue. The glue will dry clear, so you won't be able to see it very much. So I'm just going to kind of squish that on there. There we go. I'm going to set this aside because that glue should cure overnight, but at least an hour or so. So that's something you want to do before you start working on the rest of your projects. Okay, so now that I have that aside, we'll come back to that later, but I wanted to get that part started for one of our projects. We're gonna start with a really simple earring, and then it's gonna get a little bit more complicated as we go. I would say this first earring is more of a beginner earring, but we will go into a little bit more fine detail on the second and third pairs of earrings. So there are probably ways that you can simplify them if you're not up to really tiny detail work that you'll see in one of the pairs of earrings. So this earring is going to be really simple. We're going to use the green metallic snowflake from this mix. I'm loving this. Is one of my favorite mixes from Jesse James Holiday 2021. And then I'm going to use an eye pin, and I'm going to hook that onto my snowflake, and you can use wire to wire wrap if you'd like. I'm just going to use simple loops today. And this is probably shouldn't even be part of a tutorial because it's gonna be super easy. But we have a charm here, and I'm gonna make this earring kind of look like a holiday ornament. So I'm gonna put on one of the Shambhala beads that were in the kit. That was in the kit, and then one of the sheriff stars. Oops. Okay, and then this really fun pink metallic bead. I just think that looks like it should be an ornament hanging on a tree. Don't you? And then I am going to do a simple loop. I'm going to bend that to the side, snip it a little bit, and then curl. Okay, so we just want to make sure our loops are facing the right way, and they are. And I'm going to grab an ear wire, open that up, slip on our earring, and in less than 5 minutes, you have a really sparkly, jazzy pair of earrings. My goodness. I love how simple they are because they go on really quickly, but these beads are so fun and funky, and I love that color combo that nobody else you know is going to have something like that. So that's pair 1. And we really did make that in under 5 minutes. But like I said, pair 2 and pair 3 are going to be a little bit more involved. For pair 2, I am going to get a bead cap out of the Holiday 2021 Winter Solstice kit, and it has the silver bead cones. So I've gotten one of those out, which are really cute. And then from the Holiday Pop collection, I got out one of the green Shambhala beads and the pink frosted glass bead. I also got out an ear wire, and from my chain, I cut 2 pieces, one in 2.5 inches and one in 3.5 inches. And this is where I'm going to grab either some 24 gauge or 22 gauge wire. I'm going to do 22 gauge today because these are teeny, teeny, tiny links on these pieces of chain. So I'm just going to grab a piece of wire. Here's my 22 gauge. This is probably a foot long. And I'm going to go ahead and start by taking my longest piece, so my 3.5 inch piece, and I have to figure out which one of these that is. So I'm going to take my longest piece, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hook it on to my wire, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my 2.5 inch piece, and then I'm going to take my Shambhala bead and I'm going to put that on as well. Okay, but before we move it down, we want to come back with the 2.5 inch piece and slide the other end onto our wire. And the reason why I say this one's a little bit more difficult, not beginner, if you're not used to really dealing with teeny tiny chain or very small pieces, this might become frustrating. So if you're newer, you can grab a jump ring. You can use different chain that maybe has a larger size. I just really love the fine size of this teeny itty bitty wire. Okay, then we'll do that with the other side. Okay, and then I'm gonna move the beads and the chain to the middle of the wire, and I want to kind of move the wire or the chain first because the Shambhala bead has a big hole, and it tends to eat up that wire, or I'm sorry, eat up that chain if it tries to move a little bit faster than the chain. So I just want to get that to the middle of the wire. I'm going to bring my ends together to make sure that we can find the middle, just like that. And move this just a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to take my pink frosted bead and slip both pieces of wire, both ends of the wire, through the pink frosted bead. And we're going to slip that all the way down as far as we can to the green bead. So it's gonna, you can grab your nylon jaw pliers and kind of hold on so you don't dent your wire, and pull that down. Oop, and I pulled it down a little bit too lopsided, so one side came a little bit more through this bead than the other. So what I'm going to do is kind of move that bead back up and just reposition until it's centered. All right, so there's a little bit of, there we go, much better. So I'm gonna put this up through my bead cone, and this earring really reminds me of like the Grinch and the Who's of Whoville. It really reminds me of that so much. This whole color palette really reminds me of that. So then I'm going to take both pieces, and you can twist these if you'd like, but for this earring I'm just going to wire wrap both while they're untwisted like that, just loose, and I'm going to bend back, bend forward, and then I'm going to reposition my pliers and pull back like that. Okay, and then I am going to move this down a little bit, and I'm just going to wrap, just going to wire wrap until I run out of wire, or until I'm satisfied with how the wire wrap looks. I'm going to go around one more time. Here we go. I'm going to make sure that my loop is sideways. I'm just going to finagle this until it looks the way I want it to look. Here we go. Super cute. Looks like a little like toy soldier to me. Something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and snip in the back. It was tucked in well enough that I don't really need to tuck it in. And I'm going to take an ear wire and hang it on the ear wire. So just need to find the front. There we go. These are soft flex ear wires. And here we have a really cute pair of earrings that you could probably wear all year long, but to me they just really look like little toy soldiers from like the Nutcracker, but like also from the Grinch. So I just love them. Isn't that cute? Isn't that super cute? So yeah, and you can do anything you want. You can put another bead hanging down here. You could put beads on top of your bead caps, but while it's simple, it's definitely going to grab your eye because of these little Shambhala beads. Super cute. Okay, and then our third pair of earrings, it's going to be the most intricate because we're going to need teeny tiny pieces. So I'm using this very large acrylic loop or drop. It's so cool. I love this so much. And then this was my favorite bead in this mix. So gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. We're also going to use a glitter bow. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. And I have a 1 1/4 inch piece of my teeny tiny chain. So I'm going to cut a length of my 24 gauge wire, and I'm going to make my own jump rings because I didn't have on hand jump rings that were tiny enough to go through this wire. So the 24 gauge wire is really going to help me do that. And I'm going to scooch in just a little bit so you can see a little bit better what I'm about to do with this wire. So I'm going to take my multipliers and I'm just going to hold the wire between my round mandrels, and I'm going to do it towards the front so that the jump rings are a little bit smaller. If you want a wider jump ring or a larger jump ring, you're going to go back here, but I'm going to start at the front. And I'm just going to start twisting around my mandrels. Okay, so if you ever run out of jump rings and you don't have time to go to the store, store is closed, you need to finish your project ASAP, perfect way to make your own jump rings. So I'm just going to keep going around and around. I only need 2 for this project, but I want to make sure I have extras just in case I make a mistake. So there we go. We have about 4 or 5 links maybe, and you want some sharp nippers for this. I am just going to go find where my beginning point was. So we see the end of one of those wires right there, and I'm just going to snip up my my rings. Okay. So here's one jump ring. It's teeny tiny. There we go. And We'll do another one. Okay, so we've got a few of those. Now this is the part that is going to be a little intricate. I mean, I know making your own jump rings that are teeny tiny is kind of intricate, but we're going to need 2 pairs of pliers. I have 2 different styles. And then I'm just going to open my jump ring. Just like that. And I'm going to find my 1 1/4 inch of chain and slip it on one end of the jump ring, and I'm going to close it. Okay. Next, I am going to take this chain with the jump ring, and I'm going to flip over my crystal and put the chain through my bead. Isn't that awesome that that chain just goes right through that bead? I love it. So then what we're going to do here is flip over our acrylic component. And we're going to lay that bead right through there, or right in the middle. And I'm going to find my second jump ring, open that up to have it ready. Just like that. And then this is the part that becomes a little intricate. So I'm going to take my crystal. We're going to make sure that we put it, we're going to take the chain and put it through the front of our acrylic piece, but we're going to go ahead and lay that back down just like that, having the chain come out through the back. Set that aside so it doesn't fall out. Grab our little jump ring that we already pre-opened. Try and put it through our chain without the chain coming through out of our acrylic piece. There we go. And then I'm going to come back through my jump ring in the back, just like that. And that's why I said it's a little intricate. You want to make sure you're doing this when you're not in a rush, when you have some patience, and you're not pressed for time. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And this alone would make such a fun earring. But we're going to jazz it up a little bit because it's Christmas, right? And isn't that fun? I'm sure there's a way that you could use this. You could just use a jump ring and put on any kind of bead in there, wire wrap, anything. But I just wanted to give it a little bit of a swing in there. And I love how the chain looks in front of that bead. So next, I'm going to take a jump ring, a large jump ring, and I'm going to put it through the top of our teardrop. And close it up. I think this would make just a cute earring just all by itself, but we're going to make it even cuter. And then I'm going to take an even smaller jump ring than that, bigger than the ones we were using before, but just a regular, it's probably 6mm jump ring. Open that up, slip on our teardrop, and then I'm going to take my bow and I'm going to put that through the bottom part of my bow, and then try and close that. You could probably use the bow to close it, if you can't get your pliers in there, which is what I just did. So there's a little bit of a gap. That's not going to matter, but we can close it up a little bit more. There we go. And then I'm just going to slip on an ear wire through our charm here. There we go. And close that back up. And there is our absolutely stunning pair of earrings. Isn't that just the cutest thing ever? Here is our twin. And they just look like a little wrapped present, don't they, with that little bow? My goodness. So in under 20 minutes, we've already made 3 pairs of earrings. Well, at least three earrings. You can make the pairs probably with little to no more time than that. And then we're going to make a really simple necklace. I have about 18 inches of my chain left after making those other earrings. And I have my dried little pendant. And there are so many different things you can do with this, but I just thought, why don't we just put a little gift, make a little teeny tiny necklace that would be great as a stacker to wear with other necklaces, or if you're just wearing a simple outfit, t-shirt and jeans, or even a dressy dress, you can use this with it. So I am going to take one of those jump rings that we just made. I'm going to actually take 2 of those jump rings that we just made. Then then 2 larger jump rings. So one for the ring of the clasp, and then one for our clasp itself, and then a simple lobster clasp. We'll take our multipliers, open up that jump ring, and then I'm going to put my chain, if I can find the end. There we go. And then I'm going to find, oh, this ring is actually not a jump ring, it's a soldered ring, so you can use a jump ring, whatever. And then we're going to put that on there, close that up. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. However, for this one, I'm just going to put this jump ring on, close it, and then put the jump ring with the lobster clasp on as well. I don't want to use this jump ring to just put the lobster clasp on. I want a little bit of a heavier gauge to handle that portion. Okay. Close that up. And if you'd like, you can also put on another piece of larger chain, hook it onto there to have an extender. But I'm not going to do that today. But what I will do is close this up, and then I'm going to go look in. Here's our little tiny dainty necklace. You know, we don't always need the big chunky necklaces. But I'm going to go back to my holiday pop. I'm going to look for a bead. I think I'm going to go with, I'm gonna go with this hot pink bead. I'm gonna grab a head pin, put that through my bead, make a simple loop. Oh. Just like this. We have our simple loop, and then I'm just going to open that back up. And I'm going to loop that on to our closure, just as a little finishing touch. And if you have an extender on the back of your necklace, that's a great thing to add to the back too. So we have our cute little dainty present necklace. Isn't that just the cutest little thing? I will include photos of everything so you can see them, the finished product. But thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you to Jessie James Beads for having me back. And today we made 3 pairs of earrings and a necklace using the Holiday Pop Holiday 2021 line with an assist from Winter Solstice. And I don't sled, I slay. Let me know which one was your favorite, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye. What you doing? You sleeping? What you doing? You get that tongue hanging out, huh? How cute you are. Look, cutie pie. You took her out from playing with your toy at lunch, huh? Yeah. Goldie, good girl. Look at that little face. Hi, Goldie.